All right, guys, welcome back. Blackout
Yes.
hour is upon us, man. We got a lot to talk about. We got some guests that's gonna be joining us shortly, so not gonna waste too much time, man. Gonna get right into it. Thank you for everybody that's been championing Blackout from the beginning. Everybody that's been spreading the word. So first and foremost, I want to let you guys know we having our first Blackout live show August 23rd. VIP night for
I can't
investors.
wait.
Be talking to the legend himself, Shannon Sharp.
Yes.
Media personality of the year in my book.
Hands down.
Yeah, for sure. Came out the gate with that Cat Williams episode, the most viral moment of our generation, and then just kept going. Nightcap with Ocho.
Yep.
Still on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith, First Take. I think he does that 2 days a week. So
ended Skip's career.
It's a fact. Ether. He gave Skip that ether. So
for real.
Man, looking forward to this, man. It's gonna be a hell of a night. Like I said, that's the opening night, VIP night, and we are still doing our all access VIP ticket raffle. That's with Terrence J. And anybody that buys a VIP ticket this week will be eligible. And if you have a past VIP ticket, you'll be eligible as well. And pretty much you get an all access pass for the weekend. One person will be able to go backstage, meet the guests, meet the host, go to all the dinners, go to all the parties, meet and greet with Don Peebles. Lifetime access to EY University, lifetime access to Stock Club. Man, this literally is your golden
best
pass.
deal.
This is your golden pass. So if you're interested, man, this is the week to get your VIP tickets. We'll see you at Invest Fest. The lineup keeps getting bigger and bigger. And Chicago, this Sunday will be in your area. United Masters. We're teaming up with United Masters, Earn Your Masters. So shout out to Ally. It's a free event. You just go to our website, earnyourleisure.com. And RSVP space is limited. We still got a couple more days for you to RSVP. But if you're in Chicago, pull up on us this weekend. It's going to be dope pitch competition, panels, musical performances. It's going to be a really, really, really dope vibe. So shout out to Chicago. Ian, anything you want to say?
Yes, if you want to get rich from the market, I'm having a birthday sale that will last a week. Go to ianinvest.com. If you want the blueprint on how to get rich in the market, what companies to hold for 5 to 10 years. Y'all saw yesterday, NVIDIA went to the price that I called on Market Mondays. I give out 90 prices, a swing trade price, a quick entry price for those of you who are traders, and a load the boat price, one trading tip per month, one call per week. So if you want to be able to make money regardless of who is in office or what the market is doing, go to ianinvest.com. And if I made you money, please put yes in chat. Let's go.
Let's get it. All right. So let's bring our guest up because we can start the show, actually. All right. Welcome, ladies. Drea and Lex P, better known as Poor Minds.
Yes.
Friends of the show. Two of our favorites. So thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all for having us.
Yes, yes. So it's always good to get some feminine energy and perspective. You know, we have our takes on things, but a lot of times, you know, people might not necessarily agree with it, right? So I want to keep this as a free-flowing conversation. And it's interesting because somebody just DM'd me literally like 15 minutes ago with questions that they had for Blackout. They submitted questions just randomly on a DM. So I want to just start with that because I feel like that these are interesting questions. So and I want to get everybody's take on it. So the first question was, okay, could you, a man, wife, or seriously date a girl if she had sex with her male best friend years ago, but they are still best friends today? So that's
the Michael Ealy play. I feel
right.
Allegedly.
Mikey, I hadn't seen you in so long.
Allegedly. So okay, Lex, Drea, before I get to Ian's perspective, if you guys, how would you feel, right, if you're in that situation? Is that something that is awkward, or is that something that just kind of comes with the game?
I don't know. I don't think I could date a guy who was still friends with somebody he used to sleep with.
Yeah, I think for me, because I'm not gonna lie, I've been in that situation before.
Yeah.
Where me and a guy were messing around and I wasn't in a relationship and we were still friends, but it was still very much flirty. Like we weren't sleeping together anymore and we were friends, but it was very flirty. So once I got into a relationship, I was like, I made the decision like, okay, this is not appropriate. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, I wouldn't like that. Because like I said, even though we were no longer sleeping together, it was definitely still, comments
Some
being
energy.
made. Yeah, it was just the energy. It was very flirty energy a lot, especially when we would be like going out and drink. So I think for me, just knowing like how I was with a platonic friend that I had slept with previously, I don't think I would be comfortable in that situation.
And that's what I was going to say too. Like, because I did when I was younger, like one of my high school boyfriends, we were best friends from like the time I was like 19 up until like 26, 27. And the only reason we stopped being best friends is because he ended up getting in a relationship. And he had a baby on the way, and his baby mama was like, absolutely not. You cannot be friends with her. And he used to try to make it seem to her like it was very innocent. And on my end, it was very innocent because I was over him and I did not want to be with him anymore. But he always used to, say little things here and there, insinuating that he wanted to get back with me. And in a perfect world, he would want to make it work. So I feel like the feelings were still there on his end. And it made a lot of sense to me. And I respected the fact that, his baby mama did not want us to be cool anymore.
Dang, he hit you with the I wouldn't even have this baby if me and you were still together.
He did.
Damn. This should have been your child, really.
This was supposed to be your baby.
Did he say no, he ain't say that.
He did.
It happens.
Because ironically enough, we had kind of like a pregnancy pact. And we had said like if we got to 30 and both of us still didn't have kids, we was gonna have a baby together. But obviously,
a pregnancy pact.
Can you tell men this is what y'all do when y'all really don't want a ninja? Now when we get to 42, if I ain't got who I want, I'm gonna be with you.
Just keep him on the back burner, We
Thank you.
Together. We would have had a cute baby too.
Oh, you said a pregnancy pass or a
pact?
No, pact.
Pact.
A pregnancy pact.
Yeah.
Like if we don't have kids by this age, we just gonna come together and have kids.
Yeah, we just gonna, have one together.
You're the third string quarterback.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Well, damn, when you say it like that do sound a little messed up.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. Telling somebody if you have a kid on the way and you tell somebody this should have been your baby, that's crazy.
That's dirty backing on yourself.
That's
what?
Nasty work.
He definitely said that. He was like, I don't even, he was like, it just happened. Like, I was surprised. It was unplanned. I ain't even mean for this to happen, but we here. It really should have been you though.
I mean, all right, that's
nasty work.
That's more explainable. Oh. I thought you said it was his girlfriend.
It was his girlfriend, but I guess the baby was a shock. Like it was unplanned.
Yeah,
it was like I ain't think this was gonna happen. So
Shawty, he was trying to make Drea jealous with the other girl. You know what I mean, from Sugarland. It didn't work.
Look,
had a baby.
Let me tell you, she was something else. She used to be doing the like popping up at his job, trying to see if me and him was texting. It was just weird. Mm-hmm.
But I always told you, in her defense, I mean, be for real.
What you mean?
If you are dating a man and he says, I'm friends with Drea and Nicole, you go to Drea Instagram and you see Drea look at how she look, you're going to be like,
it's tough.
Well, you can't be you can't be friends. You can't be friends with women that are attractive?
No.
That's what she always was.
Like this. My boyfriend now, he has friends that are beautiful women, but they've never messed around. It's actually platonic versus somebody he slept with in the past. No, none of his friends that he's friends with, he hasn't slept with. That's very, very different. I have homeboys that it's platonic. We've never messed around. It's definitely like brother and sister vibes. It's no energy like that at all. But these are also men who I have never ever slept with.
Yeah.
I think the energy is a little different if y'all have slept together before.
I agree, but I guess and typically, like, I do agree with you. The energy is different if you used to sleep with somebody. But I guess in that situation, I just used to feel like it was so innocent because when we were dating and talking, we were so young. You know, it's like so much time had passed that we hadn't had sex in like 8 years. You know what I mean?
Energy never dies, especially if it was good. Everybody try to hear that.
I was 18. I don't know how good it could be.
But that's what I was saying. It was innocent on your end, but at the same time, women know their man.
Yeah.
And she knows what type of man she's with. So at the end of the day, I feel like it maybe not have been specifically you. It was probably more so of him because she knows how he is.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, Ian, could you do that? Could you be with a girl and then she's friends with somebody that she slept with?
No. I'm light skinned on the outside. Inside, I'm Zulu. I ain't going for none of that. Y'all can say I'm a misogynist and all. I hear you. No. Mm-mm.
I agree. And people
come on. You want me to bring a plate over to the cookout and then who she used to smash on the couch, passing chips to her while the game on? Like, no,
absolutely not.
I'm cool.
Because as soon as you tell a joke and a hee and she get the tap in that shoulder, oh hell no.
But y'all don't think that's a little bit of possessiveness? Because I feel like at the end of the day, people gonna do what they want to do anyways. Like if your man is a cheater or if your girl is a cheater, it's gonna happen anyways. Like I feel like that's just kind of like a little possessive and controlling.
I don't think so. Like I said, I think at the end of the day, it's about respect for my relationship. So for me, I know how my friend was, and he was very flirty, and I would be too. So out of respect, and he understood that. So it wasn't an issue because we both knew, like, you know, even though we're not sleeping together anymore, you know, that energy just be there. So I think it's not more of a possessive thing, but it's a respect thing.
Okay.
It's not being way too much to even be laughing, kicking in another man's face.
In another dude's face.
And especially if you and a friend got better energy too.
Oh, now see you.
If you got your little born babe, and then you and a friend vibe. Oh boy.
Let me ask you.
I can't have no boring babe.
Let me ask you this. What's the etiquette? Okay. What is the etiquette for you? You might be with somebody casually, but you catch the vibe with the homie, right? What's the etiquette for making a U-turn? Making the U-turn.
I don't know. I feel like
you saying like if it doesn't work out between you and the person that you with and you want to spin the block with your ex?
Well, no. All right. So there's two questions. The first question is like me and you just go on a first date, the first date, right? And it just so happens that Ian is there, right? And let's say that you and Ian catch a vibe, right? That's the first part. The second part is I've been with this person, but now 6 months down the line, we broke up, it's over, and now I'm interested in the homie. Like, how many homies can you smash, right? Like, you smash the homie before you become, you know what I'm saying? Like
triage.
Now, see, I feel like, I don't know, like if me and you went on a first date and we wasn't vibing like that and I liked you and your friend was cooler, but like we haven't slept together or anything and that's the first date, like why I can't talk to the friend?
No harm, no foul.
I agree. No
harm, no foul.
Yeah, I feel like in a situation like that, it's fine. But if you and this person have been dating for 6 months and y'all been sleeping together and stuff, and then you gonna go try to talk to the friend, I feel like that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. Now I did kind of.
I was about to say,
but
you've done this. It's always you young. How young were you when this happened? 21.
I was like 26. I was 26 and I was dating this dude. And, you know, it was cool. I liked him. He was a nice guy.
Oh, whenever they say they cool and it's a nice guy, finito.
Because I'm going to be real with you. He was nice, but I had already kind of started feeling like it wasn't going to work already anyways. And so, you know, like his boss was trying to talk to me. And so I started talking to him. I started dating him.
His boss or his boy?
His boss.
His boss.
Boss. Hugo.
Yeah.
You go first.
I mean, and I guess to a certain extent, you could say they had a little bit of a friendship, but they weren't really like that cool, which is like.
It was a
Which
worker
I feel
employee.
like is but they were cool kind of because they worked together. But I feel like they wasn't friends like that. Like they wasn't kicking it for real outside of like when they were not working. So I guess that's kind of why I felt like I had a little past and it didn't really count.
Can you imagine like getting your girl snatched and a dude docking your pay in the same week?
God, that's the worst week ever.
Now he was so mad when he found out too. He definitely charged me up about it.
Charged me up.
Yes.
It's kind of foul.
Lex, how you feel about that?
Honestly, it's crazy because the guy I was just telling y'all about, that me and him were friends, but we still had a flirty relationship. It was the same guy. I had dated his friend when I was in like my early 20s. And when I moved to Atlanta, you know, we had started following each other on social media. And like, I've always known him, but he had like hit me up to go eat one day. And the vibes was vibing. We had a good time. So like, I'm thinking we were going out to eat kind of like as friends to hang out. But, you know, the drinks started flowing and the energy was there. So by the end of the day, you know, I told him, I was like, hey, just to let you know, like some years ago, I used to date such and such. And he was like, you know what's crazy? I knew that. I just wanted to see if you was going to tell me. So he was cool with it. So it seems like he had already asked his friend how he felt about it. His friend was been like, oh, you know, that was years ago. It was cool. So I told on myself and it worked in my favor. So, but I think like with something like that, it's just like, if you are honest and straightforward, and as long as like all parties are cool with it and it's open, I think that's okay. But
let
if
me
you're
ask you,
like,
why do women think that when a guy asks you out for dinner,
They want to be friends?
No, yeah.
Well,
No.
I'm not gonna lie, it was the way that he went about it. It wasn't giving vibes like he was like interested. So I think maybe he was like, he's like
That's my move.
guys, he kind of throws it out there and see if you're gonna catch it.
Yeah, nonchalant.
Energy, you know. So it was just kind of like, okay, so he wants to hang out, but you know, like obviously he wanted more and it ended up being more. But yeah, it was like a cool little situation, but it didn't affect our relationship. You know, we dated on and off for 2 years. And we ended up being friends afterwards. But like I said, I think it's okay when you go into the situation being honest. And it depends on your intentions as well. You know, like if you're still dating somebody and you low-key trying to smash his homie, that's when it gets kind of like, okay.
You're tricky.
For me, because you being sneaky.
Yeah, you being sneaky.
I feel like if you being honest about your intent and your motives, I mean, it's okay that sometimes you and a person don't click like that. Like, it's okay if it didn't work out between you and this person. They friend might be a better option, as long as you ain't, you know, slept with the other friend already.
You know about Tito and Jermaine Jackson, right?
No, what happened with them?
Didn't they like married somebody that he was dating or something?
They married. The wife wanted. Troy, maybe you can like research this to give me the exact. I don't want to mess up, but one of them married somebody, right? Had a divorce with them. The brother then married that person and had a kid with them.
What?
He said, "I'm keeping this last name."
You love them kids. Trying to get that publishing boy.
In the family. Now, I do think that stuff like that be crazy as hell. Like dating cousins or like dating family members. I just feel like you have to draw the line somewhere. Like sleeping with a nigga and then sleeping with his brother is wild.
Yeah. And there's no, like, I don't care if it's been 10 years. That's never okay.
Yeah, like ever. It ain't no time frame for that where it's like, oh, it's been 10 years, 20 years. That's long enough. Like, no. For life, them people are off limits.
For life.
That's wild.
The life.
How do y'all deal with groupies when y'all be out and about? Because I know we deal with it. But from a woman perspective, how do y'all deal with it? Because shit could be crazy out here. Like, have you ever met someone that you knew they loved you from the show, but they were trying to act like they didn't know you from the show? Or, you know, how y'all dealing with the fame?
For me, it's crazy because I feel like with women, it's a little bit different because you don't have to be like known for men to be like thirsting after you. All you have to do is true. So I think for women, we've always dealt with like men just being thirsty. But once you get like a platform, then you start dealing with men who are kind of like, they want the clout. They don't necessarily like you. They just like the fact that you have a platform. Like I had dated this guy. I don't want to even say dated because we hung out a few times. We never, you know, were physical with each other. But he had took me to the Chanel store to buy me a bag. Next thing you know, I'm on his Finsta. Like he was recording himself, like buying me the bag. And my friend told me, she was like, "Oh my gosh, such and such bought you a bag." I'm like, "How you know?" She was like, "Oh, he posted on his Finsta." One time, me and Drea he took us out one night. Me and her, we dancing, we're drunk, having a good time. We turn around, he got his phone like this, recording it.
Yeah, he had posted both of us on his Finsta.
Yeah,
and I was like,
so it was like
with the flashlight off. Damn.
Yeah,
because he knew he was wrong. He knew he wasn't supposed to be doing this shit.
Yeah.
So somebody buy you a Maxi, they can't put you on their Instagram story.
I feel like
why? Why do you want to put me on your
why?
story?
You know why?
Because for me, it becomes more of
that's clout chasing,
right? And that's the problem for me. It's like it's an intent thing. If you bought the bag just so you could post it and let it be known that you're talking to me, that's weird. I don't want to date a man like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's like I had to learn my lesson in like being more private.
Yeah,
because people be in my business real bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just like when I'm in a relationship, it's not that I'm like, it's not a secret. It's just private. So
that's my favorite line. Tell them again.
I mean, it's the truth though. Like I never hide the fact I'm in a relationship. Me and my man be outside all around Atlanta. We be everywhere. People know at this point, but I'm not gonna be online being like, oh yeah, tagging him and doing this. Like it's just it is what it is. But I think whenever you go out of your way to try to be known, like, oh yeah, I talked to Lex P, or I mess with Drea, or I'll talk to Ian, or whatever. It's a little weird, and it's like it makes me question your intentions.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't know. I feel like we haven't had any, like, I can't think of like no crazy groupie story where we just had like we went somewhere and a guy was just being like extremely extra.
That lady, the wheelchair lady in New Orleans.
Oh my God. Okay.
Wait, what?
And maybe that's the problem, because I was thinking more along the lines of like men. But y'all, okay, yes. We had a New Orleans show. This was like in November at House of Blues. We had a New Orleans show, and it was this lady. And the funny thing is, she probably gonna watch this episode because she is low key obsessed with me. High key, I guess. So we had the show. She came to the show. Of course, she was VIP. So we do the meet and greet afterwards. So I took a picture with her. She was like sitting there for like 30 minutes trying to get me to like have a conversation with her. She was like talking to me about her business and everything. And like after the fact, she was like, "Can I talk to you again after y'all come back?" Because we had to go somewhere to do something. And she was like, "Can I talk to you again when y'all come back?" Literally, our managers had to like shield me from her, and we had to go through like a back entrance because she would not leave unless I would come back and talk to her again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She be like, send stuff on like Patreon, like long paragraphs.
Yes, then she followed us on Patreon. She joined our Patreon, and she would send like these long paragraphs every day under every post that we had. And she would say like very inappropriate stuff, like she wanted to lick me and eat my pussy.
What?
And like, yes, like
she's in a wheelchair.
Yes, and she's an older lady too. She's probably like in her like 60s, and she got like a gold grill and dreads. It was a lot, but that was probably definitely because we had to block her from Patreon. Like I've never had to block somebody before, and you know it's bad if I'm blocking you from somewhere where you paying to be there.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta bump the tier up. Do what I do. Charge more.
No, I had a stalker.
For real?
You ever had a stalker? No,
I've never had a stalker though.
I had a stalker.
Come on, we'll get to it.
I gotta hear this.
I almost don't want to tell the story because I feel like she's gonna hear this, but it was one of these things that she was just hitting me up on Instagram for like forever, and you just ignore. You see messages, ignore. And then after a while, I just blocked her from my page. Then she starts DMing Earn Your Leisure's page. This is what Troy said. Don't do it. Troy said, "Don't do it." Troy said, "Don't do it."
Come on, let it live, bro. Come on, let it fly. Come on, let's blackout.
So
I just want to, because I'm like, this gotta be a crazy story. Troy said, "Don't say nothing."
Yo, it's crazy.
My boy said, "Please."
It's a real situation. Now, I'm telling you, like, it's a real.
The stalker should be crazy though.
Oh man, Troy advised me not to tell his story, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's all jokes and stuff, but it really
till it's not.
No, until it's not.
Until it's not.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about that lady too. It'd be funny till it's not.
Yeah,
because she was doing a lot. That's why we felt like we had to block her, because it was like, ma'am, you are starting to be ridiculous.
And I think for women too, like us being women, like I don't want to say it's different because it's dangerous for men and women, but it's like for us especially,
it's heightened.
It's like, yeah, it's very heightened. Like it's very important that we have security, because I'm not even like a bougie type of girl to be like, oh, I need security. But there have been situations where people just like they be in our face, they won't stop. But we had actually did the Black Effect Festival. We didn't have security with us. So we go to the back because we're trying to watch the rest of the festival. And it was like a crowd surrounding us. A line had started and it just got really, really overwhelming.
Yeah, too much.
And sometimes it feels, okay, like who is around? Because there's been plenty of people, you know, you block somebody on Twitter and you don't think about it. You block somebody on Twitter and you don't think about it. But it's like when we're in those situations, you're like, what if this person showed up and they're mad because they know we're going to be here? So I think for us dealing with like any type of like groupies or anybody being weird, like it just has heightened my senses. Like I'm always kind of like keeping my eyes on a swivel just because I have to.
Yeah.
Any of y'all ever got stalked internationally?
Internationally?
Have we ever got stalked internationally? No.
Boy, that's my little stalker story.
No, but I had to move recently. Like when my lease was up in my old apartment, I had to move because I had a few instances where I would like order Uber Eats. And
that's the worst, and they be fans and come back acting
yes, it was awful. Like it would happen all.
Drop off my Smoothie King, bro. Come on, I'm a big fan. Was Xander in here?
Yes, like literally, or they would be texting me like, "Oh my God, I love your podcast." It's like you just knocked on my door. Now you know where I'm
yeah.
So now it got to the point where I was like, "Okay, I got to get out of here."
Yeah, I've definitely had that happen more than a few times in the building that I currently live in. Like one day, it was a guy, he was here delivering Uber Eats to somebody else actually, and we were on the elevator together because I was leaving the gym. And he was like, "Oh my God, I love your show. Can we take a picture together?" I'm sweaty. I'm looking a mess. He like, "Please, can we just take a pic real quick?" He literally stopped the elevator when I was getting off the elevator and was like, "Well, we could just take a selfie or something." Like people just don't know boundaries sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm one of those people where I almost like feel bad telling people no. So I'm definitely one of those people who always take pictures with people no matter what, because I don't want people to be like, "Oh, she was mean, she was a bitch," or whatever. But people just do not know boundaries, because I just felt like in that situation, I felt like he could tell I was uncomfortable and I didn't want to take the picture, but he just still kept pressing it. Yeah, and it's like, and then I'm at home, like now you know what floor I live on and everything. It was just too much.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Yeah. I kind of want to tell this story, but
I'm gonna think about it.
You don't sit on it for a little bit.
Think about it. But all right, so another question. The guy, he asked 2 questions in the DM. The second question was, when dating someone new, should you tell each other about your dark secrets? For example, telling them things like having threesomes, orgies, sex with much older or much younger person, etc. Anything that's slightly taboo or uncommon? Or is it best for each person to keep those things to themselves and move forward, not knowing any dark history? This question can be applied to both genders.
He just left the Puffy party. Puff, we already know. It's over with. June Deal and told everybody.
I think with stuff like that, it depends on like the context and the intent of the conversation. Like I never go into a relationship being like, "Oh, well, have you done this?" to be like judgy or figure out a thing from your past. Now, if we're like having casual conversation and it comes up and you let me know like, "Oh, I've had a threesome before," or "Oh, I, was sleeping with an older woman and she was paying my bills," or something like that, or whatever the crazy story is. I feel like we find out information about each other just with casual conversation, not so much as like, "Oh, this is a dirty, dark secret and I have skeletons in my closet." Because I've never been a person who does things and it's like I'm ashamed about it and I can't tell nobody about it. Like, I'm not swinging from my ceiling doing freaky stuff that nobody knows about. So I feel like it's not necessarily a dark secret. It's just us getting to know each other and figuring out what the other person likes sexually, the things that they're into. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like nothing. I try not to be judgy when I first get to know a person. So even if they into something that I'm not into, I'm probably still like, if anything, I'm gonna try to dig deeper and find out, like, why are you into that? Like, why is that something that you did? What was the reason? But
you're gonna find out the information and then block them after. Got you. I'm on to you. I'm on to you. Go ahead. Tell me more.
Necessarily block you because you never know. I mean, maybe y'all done did it too.
You never know.
You just never know.
You never know.
You gotta let people talk sometime.
Yeah, I think you can find out a lot just listening.
I think, like Lex said, I don't know if it's like dirty, dark secret. Like you do things organically, right? Like you don't do every single thing at one time. Like
it's too much.
Hey, here's my file.
Mm-hmm.
Like, read through it. Like you just kind of. But it is, I guess what he's trying to say is like, at what point do you feel comfortable enough to start, moving into the deep end, right? Like, do you like joke about the threesome, laugh out loud, see how it goes? Okay.
No. If you do this, you got to do it with confidence. A lot of times when people try to tell you too much too soon, though, they're usually trying to manipulate you on the back end.
They trying to gauge you. Yeah, they trying to be like, what you okay with, what you gonna go for. I agree. I feel like if you gonna say it, you gotta stand 10 toes. Say it with confidence.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, I got a question for y'all. What are some red flags that you see in men that make you scream, "I'm not fucking with him"?
Bad shoes.
You say what? What'd you say?
Bad shoes.
She said bad shoes.
Bad shoes, bad teeth.
Those
are two of the first things I look at when a dude try to talk to me.
We're talking about like physical things or like.
Well, I think they just saying in general.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, like one thing that I always ask is like how their relationship is with their mother. And I don't try to be judgy, but it definitely makes a big difference. I think what I have noticed, I'm not putting this on all men, I'm not at all, but what I've noticed with my dating experience, a lot of men who have troubled relationship with their mother, and they're not even trying to fix it. Those are kind of like the guys that tend to be a little misogynistic. They have not the best views of women because I think their first example of a woman probably wasn't as great. So I think a lot of times that's kind of like something I'm like, okay, let me gauge him by how his relationship is with his mom.
Well, that brings me to, because I know when I had first met you guys and Chad was telling me like because y'all come from under the 85 South umbrella, and obviously their audience is dominated by men for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all was getting a lot of like, what is it? What's the blue pill or red pill? Ian, what's that?
The incel men.
Oh, y'all was getting the incels. Okay,
we was getting a lot of incels. Yeah.
What is it? Still do. Okay, what is an incel? And talk about that whole experience.
Well, an incel is like an involuntarily celibate man. I feel like
they can't bag nothing.
I feel like a woman can be an incel too, though. It's not gender specific, but usually it's men that just hate women. Like they'll find any little thing wrong. Like me and Lex could say the sky is blue, and they're gonna be like, no, it's turquoise. It's cerulean. Like, it's like they just find a problem with everything that a woman says. And I think a lot of the time it's usually always beautiful women.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because they can't get the
they can't get the women.
Those women. Yeah, they can't get those type of women. So I feel like internally it's like this hate thing.
And to add on to that, I think they try to put a ceiling on beautiful women as well. I remember watching a Halle Berry interview that she did a while ago, and she was saying how hard it was for her to break in the industry and how she kept getting the same type of roles and nobody took her seriously. And they were always telling her because she was too beautiful. Like agents would straight up tell her, it's because you were too beautiful.
You look too, yeah.
I think when women are beautiful, they don't expect them to be intelligent. They don't expect them to be funny. They expect them to look good. So I think with us, we made a point of like how like a guy will tell a joke like about some breasts or something, and it'll be the funniest thing you ever heard. And you'll see a beautiful woman tell the same joke with the same delivery, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, she's a whore. This is all they talk about, So it's definitely a double standard. But I think for us, our target audience has never been men necessarily. You know, if guys are starting to listen more, which is fine. I mean, we're not a man bashing platform at all. And for us,
contrary to popular belief.
Yes, right. So the people that watch the show actually know, and like I said, our male audience is growing now, but I think for a lot of men, the reason we have a lot of incels that watch our content and attack us is because we kind of put the mirror to them. We put the mirror up and they don't like that. When you don't like yourself and somebody is naming all these attributes that they don't like in a man, and that's low-key who you are.
Well, what are some of those attributes?
Someone who isn't ambitious, someone who's walking around with 3-4 baby mamas and not taking care of their kids. Like, we put these type, but at the same time, we talk about the women who, you know, don't want to show up and bring nothing to the table, but they expect Chanel bags. We give the same energy for everybody. But of course, everything that goes viral when we're talking about the men, and the women don't get offended. They be like, you know what? I hear you, Lex. I hear you, Drea. Let me get on my stuff and let me start grinding and working harder. But the men will be like, oh, y'all just want to use men and use us for our money. You don't have none.
You don't have any. Like, what are you talking about?
Do you think this is a black issue though? Do you think, because people would say like it's only black women and black men that fight publicly, like even the term strong black woman and all of that, it's a divisive. So do you think that this is a black issue that we have to kind of figure out as far as the battle of men and women?
I don't necessarily think it's a black issue. I just think it's an issue within it's a issue between the genders. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like men don't like women that have standards a lot of the time. At least that's my belief. And I feel like that's why we used to get so much backlash in the beginning stages, like when we first signed with 85 and stuff, because I think people used to feel like, here are these two women with all of this audacity and all of these standards, and like, where is this coming from? I think people like to get away with doing the bare minimum. And I feel like, you know, we were never okay with that. Now, looking back, because we actually had a conversation about this the other day, looking back on some of the standards and some of the shit that we used to be saying, it was very like, it was like, where are you getting the gall to say these things?
Such as, like, I have to ask.
No, and to be honest with you, that's fair to ask, because I don't even know. Like, I be looking back and I be like, it's crazy that I had some of the standards that I had when I could not even provide those things for myself at the time. But I felt like a man that wants to date me should be able to buy me this and pay for this and take me here and take me there, when I couldn't even do that shit for myself. And
y'all media training is phenomenal.
But what I will say is I've grown though a lot, because, you know, we started this show when I think I was 26 and Lex was like 28. I'm 33 now. Like, I've grown a lot. And also as not just as a woman, but as a businesswoman who has my own shit going on. And I feel like now I can require the things that I require because I can do it for myself. But back then it was a lot of, I think, I definitely felt that way. I definitely did feel the way that I used to say I felt. But I also feel like it was also me seeing other people as well. And like seeing what other people are, so looking up to other relationships. You was influenced by social media, by music, and that gave you a false perception of reality to make it seem like, yo, you gotta take me on a trip, you gotta do this, and then you kind of realize that that's not a realistic expectation to have. Well, the crazy thing is, I won't necessarily say it's not a realistic expectation, because I feel like because I had so much audacity, I done had some crazy shit happen to me and have gotten a lot of the things that I wanted because I was bold enough to, like, I guess you could say, demand it. But I just feel like it's not conducive for a healthy relationship if that's what you're looking for. And I think that when I was younger, I didn't really care so much about being in a healthy relationship and having like a serious relationship with somebody. I just wanted the things that I wanted. But now that I'm older and I do have a desire to be married, a desire to start a family, I just feel like you can't build a sustainable, lasting relationship having that type of ideology.
Media trend. Oh, good, yo.
You're so silly.
Why them incels mad at y'all? What y'all say that pissed them off for real?
But it's not even really a trend. It's just I've changed so much. Like I really don't think.
Yeah.
I look back at some of the videos that we used to post and
The
stuff.
growth
Like
is there
some of the
from
shit I
both of
used
y'all.
to say was very cringy, and it did. Like I said, some of the stuff did work for me, and I did end up getting bags or getting trips. I even got a car and stuff. But realistically speaking, I think for a lot of girls to look up to women like me and Lex who used to say certain things and think that, or it happened for me and think that this is gonna be the reality for everybody, it's just really not, and it's unrealistic. And I feel like that's why people don't have lasting relationships these days.
Mm-hmm.
That's very mature. That's a very mature thing for you to say, and I think it's important for you to say that, because I just always feel like, even when they be like, 8-figure nigga, that's type, like, it's like if the average black person makes $45,000,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, okay, the average American makes 50,000. You're saying 8 figures. You're not even saying 6-7 figures, right?
Right.
You literally are talking about less than probably 0.1% of the population, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which essentially is impossible. Like statistically, if we did this statistically numbers like that, it would be such a small percentage of the population that they wouldn't even count it. It'd be impossible. But you saying like you putting that image out, and I don't want to, like, it's not palling on that lyric, but it's just important. Like that imagery is being portrayed to young women, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's like this, you're portraying an image that is so unrealistic that you're setting people up for disappointment.
Absolutely. I agree. It's like, okay, you're listening to Poor Minds, and I'm talking about how a dude bought me a Chanel bag on the first date or on the second date. And so now you're going on a date with someone, like with a man that makes $50,000. He worked for UPS, and you're expecting him to buy you a Chanel bag on the first date. He can't, that's not even in his price range. That's not even in his budget. He can't afford that. And I feel like it's unrealistic. But these days, those are the expectations that I think most women have with every man that they date, no matter what he does for a living. It's like they're looking up to the girls online who have it, and now it's a requirement in the relationship above other things like morals, character, your relationship with your mama.
For the girls who do want the Chanel bag and the G-Wagon, how do the ladies catch a scent before 2025 comes?
Well, how do they get
Yeah,
we talked about this yesterday.
First of all, you gotta date men that can afford those things, and you gotta date men that like you enough to do that for you.
But to play devil's advocate a little bit, me and Drea actually had this conversation yesterday. A lot of those women that chase those bags, those things, if you look at those women that were like turned up in their 20s, they were having their way and chasing, getting the men with the money. A lot of those women are in their 40s and 50s, and they still trying to find them one.
Washed and single with a
big fall off. Yeah.
I hate to say I'm not being like, but I mean, it's the truth. So I think it's like, you really have to value a person for who they are. And like you said, like the morals, who they are as a person, that's when you're going to find love. You're going to find yourself older. And not everybody wants to be married in a relationship.
Yeah.
For, the people who want partnership. If you're looking for somebody to take care of you and buy and take you on shopping sprees every day, like, of course, that's a fantasy that we will all love, but it's not realistic.
It's not.
So I think that's the message that we try to get out there. Like, have fun in your 20s. We say that all the time. That's what you're supposed to do in your 20s. Turn up and have a good time, but you can't expect like to be finding love and only if he's going to buy you a Chanel bag or buy you a car and things like that.
Well, also it's not sustainable. Like you brought up a good point, because this is a good conversation. Because even like, growing up, there used to be like girls in high school that was like the bads, and they would go into clubs. They was more advanced for their age. Like we was in school, and they was like going to clubs, dating rappers and all that. And now they're burnt out, right? And it's like it wasn't sustainable, because there's always gonna be somebody younger. There's always gonna be somebody that's better. So it's like, even the bad bitch, eventually you're gonna become old, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not sustainable. Like, you can only run around in that circle and hustle your way for a certain amount of time before it's over. And then it's like, if you never did anything to establish yourself or establish real relationship, you're left at 40 years old.
And for the fellas too, you can't only run around and chase forever, and you don't want to be the 50-year-old dude in the club chasing 21-year-olds.
But
Like,
the fellas can, but you can do that though. That's the difference.
But do
Yeah.
you want to though?
That's
Like,
the question.
Do you want to? Yeah. And then I think too, when you spend all of your 20s in those type of relationships and then you do get to your 30s and 40s and you decide that you're ready to settle down, then you realize you have no relationship skills. You wouldn't even
talk about it.
You're not even a good partner, or you don't even have the qualities to be a good partner because you never took anything seriously.
Hello.
Yeah, and
I think it's like a lose-lose situation, but I'm glad for us, you know, like we're still fairly young, technically, you know, in the grand scheme of things. So it's like, so yeah, like, so it's like I feel like I'm in my early 30s and I've had this epiphany, you know what I mean? Versus like being in my 40s or 50s, finally figuring it out, because that unfortunately is the reality for a lot of men and women, like y'all were just saying.
And I do want to go back to a question that you asked. You were like saying, is this a problem only like in the Black community? Because that is a thing that people say all the time in our comments. They're like, only Black women talk about these things. First of all, I think we all need to realize how social media works. If you signed up for whatever social media app and you were like, oh, I'm African American, I'm 35, male, whatever, that's going to show up in your algorithm. You're seeing mostly Black people in your algorithm, okay? So when I tell you there's a whole world of white podcasts who are talking about the same exact...
Call her daddy, the Hawk Tour girl about to start doing it, like...
And I'm not saying like that's the standard, like, oh, they're talking about it, so it's okay for us. But I think it's crazy that people don't think, like Drea was saying, this is not a Black issue. This is a gender issue.
Yeah.
One of my longest friends that I've had for over 20 years has been my best friend. She's white. When she calls me, we be having the same type of man problems, same type of issues. So it's not like I hate when people do that and be like, oh, Black women are only women that think like this or that talk about this. Other races don't do it. Yes, they do.
I mean, we the only ones that gotta like fight for our lives to get married.
You know?
What you mean? What you mean?
I just feel like in other cultures they're reared that way. Like girls are groomed at a young age to be prepared to like be a wife and be a mother. Right. I just think in the Black community it's not the same. Like Black women, we're more so taught, and I grew up in a 2-parent household, but even still growing up in a 2-parent household, my mother still always instilled in me to be an independent, strong Black woman. I feel like we're not necessarily taught how to grow up and be a good partner, be a wife, and things like that. And I think in other communities like that, they're literally reared for that. And I feel like a lot of Black men don't want to get married. I think in a lot of these other communities, men understand that like most of the men that become very successful, they have wives and they have families. It helps with that.
No, I agree. You spoke. I mean, the independent Black woman thing is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
And this goes back to slavery.
It's
a long list, but it's like I've never heard an independent Asian woman. I never heard of a strong independent Latino woman.
Yes.
Indian
He's
woman.
not lying, no.
It's like, you know what I'm saying? I only hear a strong Black woman. That's the only one I've ever heard of, right? And why is that, right? And it's done intentionally. And it's done to separate
our families,
men from women, and to put the woman over the man and cause division. And even if you look at shows like on all of these shows on like primetime television has a Black woman with a white man, right? Not
in the Shonda Rhimes bag. She love it in a relationship now.
She do.
Liv was in love with the president, and
oh my goodness.
Like, you understand? Like, but. Or you're elevating white women, but you're elevating Black women, but they can only be elevated with the absence of Black men and with a partner that's white. Right. So what is that teaching our daughters?
Right.
Yeah. It's all done by design.
And I agree with you on that. But I do think conversations like these are important though. Like we have to take accountability as women, men have to take accountability, and we have to find a common ground. I think that's what I was working on personally, going to therapy, just working on myself, it was like, okay, what do I want in a relationship? What do I really, really value? Do I really, really care about things, or am I trying to show off for the internet? So it took me to really sit back and be like, girl, you really don't care about stuff like that. So it was like, once I started putting value on things, family, being around somebody who is a support system, vice versa, I think it's a good balance. Like, I am very much an independent woman, but I need my man. It's very much a household together. Like, we are building a house together, a empire. Like, it's very much a partnership. It's not like, oh, I got it. Well, I'm gonna get it done. If you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna get it done myself. I never have that attitude. It's always like, okay, babe, how can we get this done? But that's something that I'm continuously working on, because I do catch myself doing that. But I think we all have to do the work individually and make that effort to bring, the Black household at the forefront and make it a priority for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead, Ian.
No, I want to ask you guys about media and podcasting. You guys have one of the biggest shows, but a lot of shows have fallen apart. For those who want to be influencers, actors, or in this space, what advice would you give them going forward to be able to navigate the landscape as it's gotten tougher the last couple of years?
Wow. I feel like we always talk about these. Number one, and I always say I hate to say consistency, because I feel like it's such a cliche thing,
but it's the answer
that I think people don't want to hear, because they like, bitch, give us some real information, give us some real advice. But it's like, no, you have to stay consistent. You have to stay consistent. Like, we've never skipped a week of Recording Poor Minds since we first started.
Say it again.
We've never skipped a week of Recording Poor Minds since we first started. Like, we have not skipped a week, and we're on like episode 400 and something, I think.
Oh, that's fire.
It's impressive.
So it's just, you have to stay consistent, and I think you have to put a lot into your content. Like, you need to make sure the content is good. I feel like a lot of the time people's podcasts, media platforms, they don't really do that well, because you just putting out anything because you're trying to make some money real quick. And
Adam 22.
Right. And it's not quality content. And I think that's the problem these days too. Everybody sees other people and what they're doing. Like, people see y'all, they see us, they see how successful we have become in this space. And then a lot of the time, I think people even try to emulate what others are doing, and you don't even have a passion for what you're talking about, or the platform that you started. You just doing it because you like, oh, I see Ian getting some money from this. I see Rashad getting some money from this. I see Drea and Lex. Let me start my own platform too. But you're not even that good on camera, or you don't really have that great of a personality. Like, I think people have to really hone in on their craft and not just do what they see other people doing. Like, you have to have a passion for it.
Before we leave, I got a question that, I have a friend that is a big person on social media, as far as she's a well-known person, and she was saying that it was difficult for her in past relationships to be with somebody because they got jealous of her, like, going places people look at as like, you're this person's boyfriend, as opposed to like they're your girlfriend, right? Is that something that you guys have dealt with, as far as like people coming up to you and talking to you, and you being with somebody who might not be well known, right? And you are well known, and they kind of feel a way about that?
It's crazy, because my last relationship I was in, I was kind of like in denial about it, because I would notice little things that he would be saying. And like, I felt like the support wasn't there, but then it kind of like came to a head at our Houston show. And like, he was backstage and like watching, and like, he does stuff like in the industry as well. And one of my friends overheard him say, like, he said, damn, he said something like, she sold out House of Blues. I ain't even done this yet. Instead of being like, man, I'm so proud of her. She did. Look what she's doing. And it was like the energy, like he had showed up extremely late. Like, he was just like pulled up a chair, just sitting on the side, didn't bring no flowers or nothing.
Yeah.
And I remember being on tour, like now, like the person I'm dating now, it's always, I mean, even if I just go record, I'm getting a long paragraph like, I know you're going to kill it today, babe. I know you was in a bad mood when you left the house, but let that energy out the door. Like, it's always positive and telling me to have a good day. Like,
Mhm.
I would be having major shows. I remember going on the Breakfast Club, and it wasn't no good luck, no nothing. It was like a call a day later, like, oh, how was it?
That's the worst,
Yeah.
yo.
So it was like I
That
was in
should be
denial
the-
about it, but the signs will be there because when somebody is truly happy for you, you can see that.
You can
I
feel
think,
it. Yeah.
like, with Drea, like with her Muse Beauty, like her launching her cosmetics, it's like every chance I get, I'm talking about Muse Beauty, I'm posting it because
Yeah.
I'm genuinely happy for her. I want to see her become a mogul. You know, when I have other friends who have podcasts, so I promote their podcast. So it's just like, a lot of times with love, when you're in love with somebody, you're blinded by the things, but you really have to step back and really pay attention to the signs because they're definitely there.
For sure. I think you need, like, to be in this space and have a partner, it has to be somebody that's confident and whole on their own, you know what I mean, and confident in themselves and their abilities, and they have their own business or their own things going on, so they don't feel like you're overshadowing them all the time. For me personally, that's like a red flag. If I get any hint of that in the beginning of a relationship, like, I'm cutting it off.
It's over with. Yep.
Ladies, thank you for joining
I
us. Tell
appreciate
them,
y'all. I'm proud of y'all.
tell them about your show. If our audience might not be familiar, tell them about your show, and then Dre, talk about your cosmetic line, anything else that you guys got going on.
Okay. Yes. So I am Drea Nicole. This is Lex P. We are Poor Minds. We have a podcast. We've been having it for about, I think, 6 years now. And it's on all streaming platforms. We have a YouTube channel. We're two best friends. We from Texas. I'm from Houston. She from Orange. We've been friends for 9 years. And our podcast is basically just about us navigating life. We moved from Texas to Atlanta, and we just talk about our dating life. We talk about our friendship. We really just talk about everything, pretty much. There's nothing off the table. So it's a good time because we be cutting up.
Yes, episodes drop every Friday, so you can follow us on all platforms at POUR_MINDS. And also we'll be at InvestFest.
We will.
Can't forget that.
Oh yeah, we'll be at InvestFest. So I'm excited about that. We're like venturing into the land of panels and things like that. So it's really fun. I'm excited.
It'd be a good time.
It's been great. And so I do have a cosmetics line as well. It's called Muse Beauty, and the website is musebeautycollection.com. I have lip glosses, I have lip liners, I have matte liquid lipsticks, and I'm also about to come out with some new products soon. So like some blushes, some lip oils. So yeah, y'all go cop y'all some Muse Beauty. That's what me and Lex are usually always wearing anytime you see us with a lip combo on.
That's dope.
There you have it. See you at VIP night for InvestFest.
Cannot wait.
I'm excited. I can't wait to. We have to have fun.
It's gonna be a vibe. I appreciate y'all, man. All right, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
that was actually a dope conversation, man. You know,
shout to them.
Very informative. As far as like that, you know, that misconception of like what you should expect, and then you realize like that's kind of like an unrealistic expectation, stuff like that. So I think that that's an important conversation for people to hear.
Yeah,
because we talk about that a lot, but it's like from a woman's perspective, I think it's important to kind of hear somebody actually say they used to think like that, they had an epiphany, and then they realized that wasn't the best way to go about it, and they changed their whole thought process. I thought that was a very mature thing for her to say, and a very important conversation.
And we have to please remind the people, most of the people that you see on Instagram that are posting the vacation pics and the bag pics are either paid to be there by a brand or they're paid to be there by somebody's grandpa who's selling their soul.
The grandpa.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's important to date somebody who supports you and truly loves you. On like, that's a great litmus test. Like when you have a big moment, are they as happy or more happy for you than you?
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. All right, let's get some other topics before we wrap up. Okay, so no one is bigger than the program. That's something that we've been talking about a few times on Market Mondays. Not something that you fully believe in. So talk about your thought process and that slogan. No one is bigger than the program.
I think whenever we have a mantra or an axiom that we live by, I think it's important to know where did it come from? So where did that term come from? I get the ideology behind it, but I think in some cases you may lose a vital piece of something and it may cause things to collapse or fall apart. Now, I think what the person means is like in an institutional sense, some institutions can run in perpetuity. I agree with that. But if we're talking sports, music, gang culture, streetwear, there are some like the Chicago Bulls didn't re-sign Jordan for whatever reason because Jerry Krause wanted to be the man, yada yada. The net worth of the Chicago Bulls is $4.6 billion. Michael's at 3.6. If Abe Poland wouldn't have pulled his bullshit when Mike was at the Wizards, Mike would be more valuable than the Bulls right now. You saw what happened with Brady and Belichick. You saw what happened when Tupac died and left death row. Simon, hold your head. Reggie, hold your head. So I think too often we may have the lens that some people are dispensable or pieces are replaceable, and that's not always the case. Apple thought the same thing with Steve Jobs, and Scully got in, fumbled the fucking bag, had to bring him right back in. So I get what is meant, but my thing is who made the turn? And should we be following him or that pact at the level that we're at?
So who made the turn?
We want to have a conversation or we want to chill? Because I'm gonna go all the way down what happened. So we want to chill. I'm chill, but let's just say a gang enthusiast.
A gang enthusiast?
Yeah, let's say that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And I'll say this too. If you're in a good system, some of y'all need to appreciate being in a good system too. BJ Armstrong left Chicago and went to Charlotte and thought he was you BJ, love you, but you weren't coach. You weren't Craig Hodges. I know you got the one win against the Bulls in the Eastern semifinals, but
I mean, Kevin Durant. No disrespect to KD, he's one of the greatest of all time, but
yeah,
when he left Golden State, it was never the same.
Steve Kerr, you should have kicked Draymond ass off the team.
Well,
no disrespect to Draymond.
Speaking of Steve Kerr, is Steve Kerr a bad coach?
I like Steve. I'm a fan of the Bulls. Love the game 6 shot. But when people talk about him as if he's Phil Jackson or Baby Popovich, all I can think about is Mark Jackson. Not saying that he isn't a great coach, but with the team that he's had, the ownership that he's had, management has been incredible. Shit, Hubie Brown could have won 4 titles with that team.
Well, I'll say this. For the first year, 2 years, you could definitely say that it was Mark Jackson's blueprint. You can make an argument to say that. Let's say that. Yeah. And then when they get KD, you can definitely say, okay, this is the best team that's ever really been assembled. They won. Yep. You know, they have Kevin Durant, Steph, and Klay Thompson, right?
Hell of a lineup.
This is when I think that he proved himself. When KD left and then they still won. They won another one. Right? So that to me was an impressive feat. That's outlived Mark Jackson's legacy. That outlives Kevin Durant's reign. When they won that championship without Kevin Durant being there, that's when I was like, okay, he's really a great coach, right? Because you can't fake a dynasty. You can't fake a dynasty.
True, but do you think he would have been as successful in Chicago, Miami, Charlotte, Brooklyn Nets, Phoenix Suns?
Well, the game is all dictated by talent, right? So you gotta have talent. That I don't want to.
It's necessary. Yeah,
talent's necessary. Phil Jackson is not winning those championships if he doesn't have Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant,
Shaq,
Shaquille O'Neal. He has some of the greatest players of all time, right? So talent definitely is the main driving force. But I do think that he has a system, and I think that he's proven himself over. Now, what he's doing with the Olympics is going to be interesting to see. Jason Tatum not playing, interesting decision.
Mistake.
But they won, right? They did win.
Too close. Yeah.
No, they won by like 20 points.
The other night? Did they? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, they won by like 20.
Okay.
So I definitely think that he should.
Oh, against Serbia, yeah.
Serbia. No, they almost lost to South. I'm talking about in the Olympics.
Okay, gotcha.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But
I don't think he's in Popovich. I can argue Spo's a better coach.
Spo's a hell of a coach.
And probably underrated and underappreciated for what he has.
But then also, okay, is Spo the coach that he is without Pat Riley? Because Pat Riley's really the coach behind the scenes, right?
The mastermind,
He's the one that implemented the when you talk about heat culture, he's the one that implemented that heat culture. He's the one that orchestrated that. So Spo is like living out the wishes of Pat Riley.
I can agree with that.
But you know,
Spo's a hell of a coach.
Boston is another. Both of those coaches, are I think hell of coaches. I mean, you know, for them to fire their coach and then they didn't miss a beat.
And he got to get some. I know he had his little mishap in the front office. That you're not bigger than the program. When you get to management, hey, my boy, crucifixion. Gotta go. Hope everything works out with Jalen Green. Shout out to the Rockets. But he's a hell of a coach too. I mean, I love Steve for what he did in Chicago, but when he starts to get put in Popovich, Phil Jackson, I'm like, come on, man. Like, he didn't handle the Draymond and Jordan Poole situation correctly. So,
Venezuelan leader, who very likely won re-election through fraud, allegedly. It's
the news outlets are saying I'm not in Venezuelan business. Yep.
Allegedly, because you know, I don't necessarily trust the media. So allegedly, they're saying that he won, but regardless, he won. He's declaring war on Elon Musk, right? Who he calls his arch enemy. He claims Elon Musk wants to invade Venezuela.
Sociales que crea una realidad virtual. Y la realidad virtual, ¿quién la controla? Nuestro nuevo archienemigo.
With space rockets. Okay.
Well, you better get off your podium. If the boy got rockets and the MAGA support, now it's not the time to wage war when you probably took an election. And for those you don't know, the next 2 or 3 years, a lot of elections are going to be taken.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's the thing, because we've seen this in movies before, but movies are always the precursor to real life.
Yep.
Could there be a world in which a private citizen can go to war with a country?
Back to the program versus institution thing. All wars are started by private families and private citizens.
But what I mean,
but enforced.
But they're usually shadow governments, right? Behind the scenes. I'm talking about it. Can Elon Musk put together Tesla army of mercenaries and invade a country?
He can go call up the little old Blackwater Associates or Mossad or somebody, but I think that's a dangerous game. Even you're seeing he's like hit world's richest man, but he wants power. That power structure is different. There's some people you got to go through. There's a lot of rings you got to kiss before they allow you to be a part of that power structure. He can try it, but if he wants to live, I wouldn't do it. War is not, it's like the drug game. You can't just walk into the drug business and be like, I got 200 kilos and let's get to work. War is too profitable to let a private citizen, when we let you become rich off of those cars that are not performing as well as they should. They're not going to give you everything. We saw with Steve Jobs. Like, for all the money that Steve Jobs had, do we not actually believe he couldn't have went to Chile and bought somebody's pancreas and then took it back to New York? Same with Bob Marley. Like, certain things happen when, like, you step out of order. So I wouldn't advise Elon to do this. And Mr. Beast, I know you play perfect like Uncle Warren. And when Uncle Warren passed, we're going to have a real conversation. But all your racist comments starting to catch up to you. Hypothetically.
Mr. Beast?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What did he say?
It was an old clip of him using the N word, and back in the day he donated to Speed and called him a black monkey boy or something. It's a whole bunch of little clips coming up. Hypothetically, like if you focus on making videos for kids exclusively, and everyone in your camp does, and we're seeing it now with his partner that had to step down. Don't you think some of them may have interests that are not for adults? Like if you're a grown ass man and your entire focus is on making videos for kids, that doesn't seem weird. Not saying Mr. Beast, because his friend already got caught up and made the statement. But it's a whole bunch of those little YouTube channels. If you go down the rabbit hole of who runs them and the parents that are kind of creepy, parents, please be mindful what your kid watches, yo. And I don't want to hear y'all comments in the fucking comment section about it's not true, it's a conspiracy and none of that. Like, this shit is real. Game and they're like running up on pedophiles in restaurants, setting people up. What's the name? Matoli?
Just for clarification purposes, you're not saying that Mr. Beast.
No, not Mr. Beast, not Jimmy.
No.
But his colleague was grooming a minor.
Allegedly.
They had the text, but allegedly, yes.
Allegedly.
He had to step down. It's a crazy world we live in.
It's a crazy world that we live in.
Crazy world we live in, yo. Yep.
So
we gonna reel y'all in with the little dating stuff. But we're gonna hit y'all with the real world news real quick. But go ahead.
So you saying like why would an adult make content for children?
And this is all that you do. I'm not going to be in no fucking Roblox chat with no 9-year-old other than my kid. There's nothing about Among Us that's that fascinating for me to want to be in those chats all day. And then even like, if you look in the Roblox, it's usually older grown men. Why? Go on PlayStation, play Fall Guys with Xander. It's grown, 58. Fall Guys look like it was made on the fucking PlayStation 2 with a little bit better graphics. What you doing in here? So I know sometimes as parents we get tired. You want to push the technology on your kid. You have to watch everything because the hunters are out. And now I keep telling you, like, in a couple of years, they're going to have more rights than they should. And they're pushing to make this legal. Go Google it. And I used to wonder why my mom, dad, grandma, no, you can't stay over nobody's house. Why? I get it. I get it now. It's a crazy, sick ass world. Sick world. He a fan. Hey, and you know Mr. Beast want to run for president, and you gonna act foul? You messing up Jimmy plans, man. Boy, you'll never get close to him again.
What's your thoughts on Tory Lanez driver saying Tory was not the shooter?
Tory thought he's bigger than the program. Okay, great. The driver tells her now that they're not going to let you get out as a result. Unfortunately, shout to H-Town, shout to Jay Prince Jr., shout to Carl Crawford. I don't want no smoke with nobody, but anybody who knows what happened in that situation. Tory, you played your hand wrong. When you start taunting that girl out of ego, shit went left. You should have played it cool because Meg tried to hold it down. It's too little, too late. But I think everybody know what really happened if you know. Going back to the situation, can you have a vibe and then switch the vibe over in front of the vibe? Not everybody cool with it. Gotta be careful. Gotta be honest. You're not a player if you're not honest about it. Yeah,
that's true. What are two of the biggest failures in society no one's talking about?
I don't think we're making enough noise about how bad our public education system is and how bad the health insurance system is right now. Shout out to Uncle Barack Obama and Obamacare. But a lot of times, like, the insurance you select determines the quality of care that you get. Going back to this being an incredible financial issue. So even if, and kudos to all of you that are RNs, anesthesiologists, doctors, etc. Please comment in chat about this. But whether you need care is really dependent upon your plan and if you can afford it. And in the country that we live in, for all the wealth that has been generated, it should not be like that. Like, I was sick while I was here. My visit was $200 to have a doctor come here, bring the medicine, check up. Back home in the States, it would have been $4,000, $5,000 easily. House visit, 11, 13, 15,000 easily. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that we're going through is a selective choice in public education going down and our healthcare system failing the majority of the citizens here. Yeah. Everything is getting more pricey. Food, healthcare, cost of living, children, everything. So, but are there two that you think that we're not talking about enough or the public isn't aware enough?
Biggest failures in society no one's talking about. I feel like sustainable wages.
Man, talk about it. Yeah.
Then, like, you know, if you
That's a huge one.
it's a bomb that's about to explode, right? When you look at the wage increase over the last 50 years versus cost of living increase, housing increase, inflation, it's not even close. So it's like, okay, if
data inflation,
if at a certain point in time, forget being able to buy a home, you're not going to be able to rent an apartment, right? It's just not even sustainable. You're not going to be able to eat food, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just drive a car. Like, the rate that everything is going up and the amount that money is becoming devalued versus how much money people are earning. Like, people are still earning people was earning $50,000 10 years ago.
Facts.
And they still earning $50,000 now, like the average, right? Like, it really hasn't changed too much in 10 years. But look how much inflation has gone up in 10 years.
That's crazy, bro. Like, housing costs, car costs, I mean, even some luxury vehicles now, 600,000-700,000. Like, the car is not that amazing to cost it.
I mean, I remember years ago when I had a 5 Series BMW.
Yep.
This was over 10 years ago. And I remember my car note was like it was like 480 or 500, something like that. And that was high end, right? Like that's like a mid-level luxury car, right? So it's like that was the price that you would pay for a luxury car. That's what I'm saying. $500 was the price that you would pay for a luxury car. You can't get a regular car
for $580 now. What?
Exactly. Like, the
you used to be able to get a C class for $280. If you put $5,000 down, it's over with. Some of these notes, it's $3-4 grand. I'm like, oh no.
It's crazy. So it's like the price that things are costing these days. $100,000 is not crazy for a car. I remember $100,000 car was like
amazing 10 years ago, 12 years.
You was moving. $100,000 car now it's like a regular car.
A Suburban.
That's a fact. It's
crazy. That is crazy. And then Drea gonna make you buy a Chanel bag on first date. Now you out of 13 grand on the maxi.
Chanel bag
that they don't even like.
$12,000 for a bag. Like, the price that things are going up. Like I said, New York City, $1 million for a 1-bedroom apartment. It's getting spooky out here. It's getting real spooky out here. And I feel like that's something that's not talked about enough as far as that debt. And then the debt, that leads us to our next thing as far as, you know, the US debt hitting 35 trillion. But just as like personal debt for a lot of people, whether it's student loan debt, whether it's credit card debt, whether it's mortgage debt,
auto loan delinquencies are hitting a high.
That's not talked about enough either. And that's something that's going to be a real, I don't know how people get out of it unless they just start to delete debt, unless they just start deleting student loans and they start deleting like massive amounts of credit card debts. Like, it's going to come a point where it's not going to be a way to actually get out of it for millions of people. They're literally going to have lifelong debt. It's going to be a lifelong bill that you have to pay every single month in perpetuity for the rest of your life.
That's insane. But we're getting very close to it though. Auto delinquencies at an all-time high. Credit card defaults are at a high. Mortgage defaults are kicking up. We definitely need this rate cut because if not, like you said, I don't know. And then even with the market in general, there may be 30, 40 quality stocks you can like rely on for a 3 or 4 year period. It's tough. It's tough.
Yes.
Adam 22, hold your head. It ain't nothing personal. I just predicted that you'll fall off because you care about content.
Getting spooky. Yeah. What about the U.S. debt hitting 35 trillion?
But we need to call Bernanke, Powell. We need an immediate powwow and figure this out. And I know people are going to say it doesn't matter because we technically can't go under. But if costs keep rising, inflation keeps going up, we're going to get to a point of no return. Ish talked about it on Market Money's debt to income ratio. If you start to, like our payments on the interest are exceeding a normal deviation of what they should be by 4 or 5x. Right. Zelensky, your boy out of office is almost over with. Like I keep saying, we have money for everyone else to ship money and resources to everyone else but us. So, and I know y'all want immunity for the police officers if Trump gets in, but can we please do a better job of like protecting our citizens? My question for tonight, what are we going to do to make change come about from that killing? Talked about it on Monday. I don't want to move from the point. Posting it in the stories is not enough.
So what would be your plan of action?
Boycott. Well, I'm going to have to go out and blaze a glory. You take one of mine.
Well, I'm saying right now. I'm saying like right now for her in this situation today.
I think probably 20 or 30,000 of us should go to that city and go talk to the mayor and start to put some changes, and definitely do something for the family. But if we don't show up, they're not looking on our Instagram feed to see what's going to happen.
All right, if we were to economically do this, right, and we boycotted it, who would you boycott? Who? Because it was done by cops, right? So what would be the company that can actually be boycotted to feel the pain?
That's a great question. But what I would do, I'll probably maybe not, because they're not publicly traded. So there's maybe nothing we can do there, but we can find out, guys, the episode on it, who is issuing the bonds for the protection. And if there's enough noise around that, so let's say hypothetically State Street has the bonds to protect him for killing someone. Now, if we rally in enough of us about not supporting State Street, it will have an impact if we do it for a long enough period of time. Not that State Street has issued the bonds, but hypothetically. Yeah. You got to affect the pockets in order for change to come about.
It's the only way. Or either physically, military, or financially. That's the only thing that people really respect in this world.
Or both.
Or both, yeah. Facts.
Or both. I'm not Rizza Islam, though, so y'all protect me. Don't blackball me. Shout out to Rizza Islam. Yeah. Rizza popped up in a Night Like Us video. I was like, damn. Everybody was with that video.
You seen the Drake? Well, the dude went to Toronto and played it. You saw it? The DJ?
DJ did? What happened?
I guess he was like Schoolboy. So Schoolboy Q was supposed to perform in Toronto last 2 weeks ago, and they stopped him, so he didn't get in. So I guess his DJ or somebody that was affiliated with him had the show in that same venue, which Drake actually is part owner of that venue, they said.
Okay.
And he played Not Like Us. And the crowd went crazy. He started singing it word for word. It was crazy.
In Toronto?
In Toronto, yeah. Yeah.
Drake, you my boy. Them songs will go to fire, but you got to come out with some heat. And go make up with everybody.
Nasty work. That's
in your home city?
In your home city, man.
That's tough, man.
OVO
reps up. Y'all got to do something. Murder. Send my boy a batch, please, immediately. Another God Plans Part 2.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's tough.
All right. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap out?
I'm not talking about El Mayo or Chapo's son. I gotta. Not while I'm here. No, I ain't talking about Mincho. Wait till I get back on American soil, then I'm gonna try and call my guy, and we're gonna talk. But while I'm here, we can spend an hour and a half on that though.
El Chapo's son?
Yeah, he see, you trying to trick me. Yeah.
Stay
Big
tuned.
arrest this week. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Let
Next
me get
week.
back to American soil.
Next week.
Yep.
Next week's episode.
That's crazy. Y'all stay out of El Paso too.
El Paso. Dangerous grounds out there?
Borderland. There's a whole nother war going on. Nobody even talking about.
On the border?
Crazy.
What's the war?
Okay, let me say this without getting in trouble. There's been a kind invasion, I'll say that, of some border town cities. But I want to make it out of here. Shout out to Tijuana, shout out to New Jalisco, Sinaloa. Hey, and a grito. Not in y'all business. I'm staying out of Latin business while I'm here, yo.
So why do you like Mexico so much? When like a lot of people are leave Mexico to come to America. You did the inverse. You left America, not permanently, but you left America and you moved to Mexico part-time. So what was your thought process in doing that?
Quality of life better, access to beach, clean food. People here are amazing, but I'm like most creative here. But also too, a good lesson, if you study ley lines on the map, there's certain parts of the world that give you more energy. Like even when we was in Africa, there's a different energy when you get there where you feel like more alive and more vibrant, opposed to when I was in Bloomington, Indiana at Indiana University, it was cold as hell. Like there's certain places on the map that just give you more energy. And I think everyone needs to find their own place that makes them feel alive. So that's why I normally, like, for all the presentations, I always come here. Go walk on the beach, go in the sun, talk to God, then I'll get the idea. When I did the Purge Mask thing, like I was out here, so it's where I'm most. That's why, like when Kanye was doing Dark Twisted Fantasy, went to Hawaii, same ration. The cost of living is cheaper.
Have you met locals?
Yeah, local talent scout. What?
Local talent scout.
They love me here, yo. Government, the people, but also too. That's what I was telling my guy. Like, you just can't come here and set up shop. You have to build relationship. You got to
Spanish.
Poquito.
Are you learning, trying to improve?
Yeah, I'm trying to get better than everything every day. Man, yeah. So Duolingo.
Facts. Very important.
Yeah.
Very
But
important.
Duolingo is always good. You clever. Not getting in trouble this week. Not getting in trouble this week. Shout out to my baby. Appreciate you.
Oh, singular.
And then why y'all be mad, huh?
Singular now? You said baby, not babies.
Yeah, let's do single this week. Yeah.
Singular.
That's my baby. Birthday coming up, gotta act right. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. That's
Yeah.
a fact.
Shout out to the old baby who wanted to try and argue with me before I went on stage with Kathy Woods. That's why your ass not here now.
In person, are you, or over the phone?
In person.
Oh, in person?
Well, this ain't about you. This about me. I'm a star. I don't know what the fuck you thought. Contrary to Pop, I'll be humble. I'll be humble. You know what I mean? I'm a star, but you crazy. Ain't nothing to talk about. It be like that.
What is that?
These are just jokes. Ain't nothing to talk about. Market capitulation. You gonna help write some talking points in the mind? So, but no, these are just jokes. I'm done talking about the babies though. Come October though.
Come October or until October?
Come October.
Come October, it's over.
Yeah. I'm gonna invent the remix and do something else.
Settling down.
I ain't say that, but I'm gonna just quit talking. Everything must be earned. Everything. I'm open to it, but everything must be earned.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Everything got to be earned. What's going on in your love life?
It's great, man. You know, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. You know, that's important.
Media training. Yep.
Media training.
Oh my God. Hey, perfect answer, yo. Oh man. Oh, then sir, I had a show canceled too from TDE. Hey, y'all need to quit playing these little gang politic games y'all playing about because somebody gonna get hurt.
Oh, Sir's
I
with
need to
TDE.
stop.
I didn't even know Sir was with TDE.
Yeah, y'all need to chill because something gonna go wrong one time. And Schoolboy ain't nothing to play with either. Y'all, DJ Head, call Drake or the embassy and y'all work out whatever y'all gotta work out. And then you call Elliot too and Charlamagne, have him patch it up.
Jersey. It's Carabana weekend this weekend, so I'm
Oh
sure
my
Drizzy
God.
might pop out. He might do something this weekend.
He need to. He needs to call a feature ASAP.
Need to drop some music. Maybe they could, drop some vibes for the parade.
The joint he put out with Gordo was nice. Them 2 songs, that was fire.
He's not standing by nothing right now, though. The Yachty song, he ain't really stand. He's leaking music to kind of see the reaction that's gonna get, and then it's like
you gotta send him the 10 toes.
Touch and go. He got
Yeah.
He's not standing on nothing, right? He's not really like stamping. This is my comeback song.
Savage. You better call 21.
Can you do something for me?
For real, it's tough. Call who wrote the hits? Call him too. Make up with him. Make up season. It is not, especially in a time of like economic compression. It ain't time for war.
Yeah, it's difficult though, man. Can't make one of them hits with Ross. Can't make one of them hits with Future.
It's tough. Sometimes you gotta pick up the phone and just be like, "I'm sorry, my bad, bro. Please." What are you gonna do? Call Ed Sheeran? You better call somebody black.
Nah. Nikki, his best bet is Nikki and Wayne. Bring back the trio, Young Money.
I don't think Wayne gonna be rocking with him like this after he was moving foul.
No. Wayne, that's life. They locked in for life.
I ain't seen Wayne stand next to him in a long time.
Weezy? Nah. Weezy. I seen Weezy with the owl chain. Weezy, that's a lifelong relationship.
You gotta protect the investment. I'm not gonna ruin my investment, but I may not be seeing buddy with you. You know what I mean? It's tough. You got to move with honor and integrity. Like when all the day ones start to move away, I'll be like, what happened? Like what you do at some point it's you.
That's a fact.
I'm gonna stay out of Young Money business. Shout out to Prince.
Shout out to Toronto.
Yeah, good facts.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. It's been real. See you guys next week. Chicago. We'll see you on Sunday. And get your tickets to InvestFest.
If y'all in New Jalisco, I will not be in Chicago. I'm staying out of y'all business.
And where?
In Chicago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shout out
but
to
get
Chicago.
your tickets.
Shout out to Chicago. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. Tap in. Love.